Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And of course, thank you, Emmanuel, for the sports update. And of course, we welcome to the 9 o'clock hours where we get to have the big conversation. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha Alo. It's been a delightful morning with you. And we're on to the last lap of Rapid Done for this morning. You know, it's always an amazing time having these conversations with you. But today we go again and we definitely have someone here who would help us have the conversation better.
Definitely. And of course, we're talking about women representation in population. Yet, their presence in politics remains very small. As a matter of fact, in the current 10th National Assembly, out of the 469 lawmakers, only 17 are women. And that's just about 3.6%. If you compare that with countries like Rwanda, where women occupy more than 60% of parliamentary seats, and the gap becomes very clear. Now there are talks in the news about creating more seats for women in Nigeria's parliament. Supporters are saying that this will finally give women a stronger voice in governance, while critics call it tokenism. But beyond the numbers, what really matters is whether women, when given the platform, can make impact. And we've already seen examples from the likes of Senator Ireti Kingebe, who raises tough issues in the Senate, to Honorable Khadija Buka Abba Ibrahim's consistent advocacy in the House of Reps. And so today on the big conversation, we are asking how can Nigeria move from token representation to true inclusion of women in politics? And with us to unpack this is Honorable Umar Khatom Yusuf, an APC chieftain. Good morning to you, ma'am. Welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning. It's good to have you join us on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's begin the conversation, right? Women make up nearly half of Nigeria's population, but in the 10th Assembly, you're underrepresented. Why?
Severely.
Severely. Why do you think women are underrepresented when it comes to politics?
Well, it's the terrain, I think. It's quite difficult for women. Men, you see, in politics, women are usually outspent and intimidated, and we face all sorts of issues, threats, and you find a lot times that we don't know how to complete the journey. Either fear sets in or some sort of intimidation sets in, and that's the reason we find ourselves in the situation we are today.
All right. And of course, talking about the debate right now that is ongoing, I mean, there are talks that seats have got to be reserved for the women.
Yes.
Some say that it is just maybe a token to be given to the women. What's your side on this debate?
All right. So first, I'd like to say that this conversation is not just timely; it is quite urgent. And what women are asking for, it isn't really a handout. We're just asking for fair play. We're just asking for our own. You find a situation whereby, like I just mentioned, we face many issues on ground. And then what we're just saying is, all right, you don't want to share your toys. Let's just allow us build our own. Allow us bring our own seats to the table or reserve some seats for us. That way we're not coming as a threat. You know what? We're just trying to show that we have voices and we have issues and we want to represent and we want to speak and we want to defend our choices.
All right, thank you so much for that one. But a lot of times when we say, reserve seats for women, women are not given the opportunity to come out and be voted for and to occupy some of these positions. The argument or the counter argument oftentimes will be that women do not even come out in the first place to be voted for. They misrepresent or underrepresent themselves. And by that I mean, if you don't step forward to carry on a responsibility, how are you going to be voted for? Don't you think the problem is first with encouraging more women to be involved in political matters than reserving seats for them in the first place? Or training them to be able to carry out these responsibilities before even vying for seats for them?
Actually, I'll say I agree with the second thing you said, and I'll actually say that I'm proof of training, because my political journey just didn't start yesterday.
Okay.
First, I was mentored, and I found myself a progressive young lady.
Okay.
Right, because we were recognized from a particular issue, I think between the ages of 18 and 36, you're youth, right?
Okay.
And we're young ladies, and then we were set with certain mentors, and then we shadowed them for years. And then based on that training, you now find that you find yourselves in a room where you can defend yourself, you can speak on certain issues, and you can speak on rights, and you have a voice, and then you're emboldened to raise that voice, right? So I am proof that of training. Now with that training, I was also empowered to believe that because of this voice that I have a community, and I'd like to represent my community. Oftentimes, you find that certain women don't have that training, but regardless, some people have leadership built into them. Now, I can tell you for a fact that in FCT, for instance, where women make up over 60% of the population, I'll tell you that in the most recent area council primaries for the APC, 16 women came out to contest for various positions, councillorship, as well as 2 aspirants for chairman. And unfortunately, only one emerged victorious in her primary, in her primary elections for the position of councillorship, and I'm sitting right here in front of you. My other 15 women, it wasn't because that they didn't match or they weren't up to par. No, they faced serious issues on ground. Yes, they had all their documents together, they paid for their forms like everybody else, but then suddenly, in some places, you even hear rumors that primaries didn't take place. In some places, you find, I think there's an example of a lady from Buari who, in fact, got her certificate of returns from the party, and at the same time, her name didn't emerge on INEC. So what exactly happened there? You tell me. There are different issues we face, and it's systemic, it's ingrained in the system. And we try, and then we put our best foot forward, but then we find that a big man with a big shoe stomps on it.
Okay, big man with big shoe stomps on it. That's one that should be remembered. But while I understand that some of the systemic issues, so it's not just from the woman, from what you've explained, it's not the problem of the woman not coming out and wanting to be voted for or to be shown that she has leadership qualities. It's a systemic problem. Now, what measures have you taken to sort out the systemic problems? Because I'm trying to address it from this point, because most times when we talk about women not being represented properly in these political covers, the most conversation that comes up from there is, are they ready to even come up? Are they ready to vote? Are they ready to be voted for? This is the conversation that comes up many times. So if you have identified a problem, what measures have you taken to be able to sort out these problems before we now establish that, okay, there's a problem we're dealing with here, how do we address it?
All right, so this is the reason political parties have women leaders.
Okay.
This is the job of a woman leader, to embolden the young Nigerian woman, the Nigerian woman that has interest in contesting, and to give her the necessary support. There are certain rooms where negotiations take place, and for her to say, women need to be represented. Look, the elections are coming up. Personally, I think, what is it? Is it 33%? There are women coming out. Let's see how we can invite them to the table, and let's see where exactly strategically, where women have come out. Let's give them a chance.
Okay.
So I believe that the job of a state woman leader, would be a party woman leader here, is to mitigate this fact. But at the same time, this also goes to show why the bill is so important, and why yesterday at the town hall, our voices were raised, because it's a problem. Hear us. This was regardless of political party, regardless of affiliation, old, young, even he for she's, many were there, because they understand that their mothers, their sisters, their daughters, their wives, they take care of their lives, their family, their homes, their jobs. So they do such a good job. And like you said, you mentioned, you gave an example of Rwanda, where female leadership is at an all-time high. I mean, look at it, and then see how developed their country is. It's not a question of what women are really capable of, because truth is that we have it. We've shown you for years that we have it. It's the opportunity. Do we have it? Like, can you share? Are you willing to tete a tete?
Right. Let's even talk about political parties, right? You're a member of the APC.
Yes.
And the APC is one of the parties, of course, on the national level. Is the APC giving women the opportunity to actually vie for positions, or they are more concerned about the fact that women should be used for more of campaigns?
I tell you for a fact that the current leadership of the APC, the current chairman, distinguished Professor Nantawe, specifically for me, he advocated for me. He advocated for women. In fact, I remember a certain conversation where he brought out the ABC handbook, was it? And he said, it's here in the rules, like it's here in the rule book. Women have a percentage, and right now we're falling short. He raised it as an issue. So I do believe that the party leadership supports women and is encouraging women to come out. Women are still facing issues on the ground, But it starts from somewhere, right? And I do believe specifically my party, my chairman, my woman leader, and like all the leadership at national are in support of women.
Now, let's talk about you, specifically for just a bit. You were the, councillorship candidate, and of course you said amongst 17 women, you got the ticket in the primaries. Now, what was the biggest setback? Was it a matter of culture? Was it money? Was it political, divide as at the time? What was the biggest obstacle that you faced as at the time as a woman?
Specifically, I'm grateful to say that it wasn't money. I had people, like I said, I went through a process. So I had mentors, and then they knew that, oh, you know what, I'd shown myself, or I'd proved myself, or this lady is quite capable. So thankfully, a lot of them came through for me, right? But, and I also have to thank my ward, because my ward was like, it's time for a fresh face. My ward is gender sensitive. The great people of City Center, they're very gender affirmative, and they said, you know what, it's fine. I'm quite young. In fact, last I checked, I'm the youngest person running, like on the ballot. However, my ward, my people, they were quite encouraging. The only major problem I'd say I faced were that I had to be on ground, literally trying to convince people. There were different factors. Some were like religion. Some said I'm inexperienced because this is my first time contesting.
Okay.
But personally, the support I got was more than the backlash.
Backlash that you had.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's take a bit of example from what we see casually in the Nigerian society. We have seen many times where both men and women push the narrative of the fact that, oh, women are the least supporters of women. If a woman comes out, most women will not vote that woman. But yesterday, we saw a massive rally for the reserved seat bill for women. A lot of women came out. And in fact, a lot of people, analysts as well, were of the opinion that this is long overdue, especially in Nigeria and in the FCT as well, because seeing as you are a councillorship candidate for the FCT, how would you interpret the rally? How do you interpret the body language of the crowd? Was it momentum? Was it just political performance? Was it just, oh, let's go, where everyone is out there on the rally, let's just be out there? How do you interpret the crowd there?
I'll speak from my personal experience. I was on the ground by 6:30. I said I was ready to go. The energy from whether it was Dr. Adora, whether it was Dr. Sasu Igbenidion, these ladies, they brought the energy, and there was a lot of enlightenment. They've done the work. There's a website, I think it's reserve your seat bill
for women.
Yeah, for women.com. I'll have to get those facts, but there are steps to educate us, right? And then the women were there in heels, in sneakers. Some on their way to work stopped. Some who couldn't stop waved at us. Personally, I feel like this was the first time I felt this really strong sense of sisterhood, because we understand what we're here for. And this is the year 2025, right? Is 2025 going to be the year that this momentous bill is signed in? Is our hope really going to be renewed? Like, what is it going to be? Is this going to be the year? So that feeling that he evoked in the women were out. Not just the women, husbands, brothers, right? He for she's, young children, they were out. And just to prove, just to push the point, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Senate President, look, it's time. So please vote in this bill.
Okay.
Women, we deserve that seat.
Okay.
Reserve it for us.
All right. The first time that this bill was presented to the House was in 2022. And despite overwhelming evidence that women are grossly underrepresented in the political scene, it was rejected. Now, why do you think it was first rejected? Is it patriarchy? Is it politics? Or is it the fear of losing control?
You said it all.
Oh, you agree? All three.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. But I'd also like to highlight that in the 9th Assembly, a lot has changed. So we have, I feel, a lot more enlightened people to the cause. We understand that hand in hand we can grow this country.
Okay.
It's not a gender issue, but it's a matter of national development right now. And are you on board? And I feel like a lot of them really are on board. They understand our plights. We've spoken with them. We've lobbied one-on-one in groups, in town halls. They see that we women, we are not playing. So they take us more seriously, I believe, I like to believe.
Okay, so in 2022, women didn't have the body language of, we are serious to take this office.
I learned something during this campaign. A lot of times you have to stoop to conquer. So it's not by raising shoulder. Someone particularly told me that you don't win election with men as a man, even if you are a woman. So I personally feel we did things softer, but we were with a stronger point this time around.
Okay.
And it wasn't like, oh, we were trying to threaten or compete.
Okay.
It was, we're bringing you to the table and we're saying, this.
You're using your family.
Okay.
Now, you talked about the experience earlier on when you talked about your journey, as a first-time contender, for the consulship. Don't you think experience is a key thing as well for anyone who wants to contest, especially women?
Yes, it is. Part of my experience has been that I have had party assignments, and I have also conducted other elections. And kudos to the leaders that I have conducted elections with, who taught me, who trained me, because I saw a lot and I learned physically on ground. I saw even, attempts at manipulation and tricks, so I was aware. So I'd like to say that, yes, this was my first time coming out, and some people believed I have very little experience, but I was on ground before. So I trained with other politicians. I'd seen what they'd been through, and I'd seen what people on the ground were like. And somewhat, nobody's ever 100% prepared, but somewhat I was ready.
Okay.
If you also looked at the fact that right now the talks for the reserve seat is ongoing, right? Earlier on I asked if, the party just uses women for, mobilization and all of that. And there's still talks on the street that at this point, shouldn't women be given that opportunity to first of all prove themselves that they have what it takes to bring, they have what it takes to bring either development to the table. Again, you get to understand that politics is also a game of number. Thus, women at this point in time have what it takes to also gather that amount of number, especially when it comes to position.
Absolutely. And once again, I will speak from my experience. My primaries were direct primaries. And this meant that every card-carrying member of the party was entitled, which just lined up, really. And it was very simple: line A, line B, line C, line D. And 458 people stood behind me. About over 75% of them were women. So it's time. Women are supporting women. Women believe that, when a breath of fresh air comes along, when somebody with vision, when a woman, they say, there's a Hausa adage that says only a woman can feel a woman's pain. I think only women can feel a woman's pain. So when they recognize that, it's no longer competition. Yes, I genuinely believe that women support women. They see a sister and they feel, you know what, let her go ahead. Let her do it, because if she does it, it means I can do it next. Or my daughter can do it as well. Or, those opportunities exist. I think it's different now. I think the era is ripe for change. Well, yes, and that's what's happening.
Well, let's take a critical look at, in actuality, the number of women that have occupied certain political offices, and I'm talking the likes of Iriti Kingibe, I'm talking the likes of Natasha Oduaha, I'm talking the likes of the women that have occupied the Ministry of Women Affairs. Now, I will say that there are many times I was disappointed by the political playout of what happens in the Ministry of Women Affairs, how most of them are just taking out of the office, and humanitarian as well. We have seen that, because when we talk about reserving the seats for women or giving women better opportunities, then they present these other women who have occupied the position and maybe haven't done great or stolen a lot of money, and I'm talking Desiani now, a lot of money from the government coffers. They bring out this example. Can you say in actuality that a lot of women, the women who at least have been able to represent while they can, have been able to put women in a good light?
I'd say more than just, for every for every bad habits, 5 women have shown. I don't want to compare, but men have done 50. Right? Okay. So it's not just a matter of a case of a few bad apples or a few bad eggs. The point is, anybody when exposed to a certain experience that they have nobody really knows what they're doing in the beginning. But when you're in that opportunity, you ask yourself, personally I ask myself, my home training comes in here, regardless of whether I'm a girl or a boy. I know that I'm representing certain people. I know that genuinely I want my country to grow, and for that to happen, I will put all selfish interest aside. Back to your question, you said have certain women represented, have they been good examples? Yes, I do feel like I do have great mentors in the system. Our first lady being 001. If there's one woman like our first lady, and there are 10 women like our first lady, yes, you'll still have a couple of bad eggs. But I look to the positive. I pick what I see. I have great mentors. I have seen women do it. Yesterday at the town hall meeting, I was with distinguished Senator Itagiwa, right? And I was so honored to be in her presence because she did it. She's done it, you know. So when you see someone has done it and you're heading to where they are or where they have been, you have to give them their due respect. So let's talk about people like her. Let's talk about like Senator Kingibe, who's actually doing the work as well. Proud of her, woman to woman. I look up to her. That's my mother.
Okay. Oh, awesome. All right. Let's take a look at the fiscal momentum now. The local government and councillorship elections are famous for being very notorious, for being violent and money-driven. Not for men now, because we have seen a trace of that in Kaduna State during the by-elections where we had the conversations here, and the play-out of the elections through different coffers. I'm talking Anambra and I'm talking Kaduna State now, was violent, notorious for bribery. In Anambra State, we learned that the sum of 30,000 naira was paid to everyone who was willing to sell their ballot in the state. Now, how do you think a woman might be able, because we cannot deny our natural makeup, our biology, we're softer in nature, and you made mention of that as well. How do you think that a woman will be able to break the barriers such as this when she's trying to vie for a position?
I consider myself to be a very genuine person. And when I approached people for consultation or to speak with them, understand them, I spoke from the heart. And a lot of times I've been told that I communicate from my heart. I hold your hand and I look at you and I tell you, look, genuinely, I want to do this work.
A lot of people have done that too.
A lot of people have done that.
And it didn't turn out pretty well.
For some of them, it has worked. For others, I guess not everybody's journey is the same. Now, you're right. In every election, money is important because people require some sort of stimulation. I'm proud to say that I'm in a world where we're very highly educated, and you know it's the seat of power. It's the seat of power, and we do quite well for ourselves. So when you're encouraging somebody or motivating somebody to come out to vote for you, you talk to them about what they're actually facing, because for 90% of the population in my ward, 30,000 naira won't change their lives. 30,000 naira is just a meal for some people. But still, when we sit down and we're like, what are the issues we are facing? We're already a blessed ward. We have good amenities, good roads, light, water. What exactly do we need? There are people on the streets. We need empowerment. So let's empower them. There are children in school. You know, let's do what we can. Let's get books into those schools. Let's get them reading again. Let's get them off the street and reading again.
I hear you making the promises that a lot of people have made already, right? And I've listened to you through the questions that we've asked, and I see you paint a saintly picture of what you are able to represent your people for. But we have had thousands of people make this promise, and none of that. Now, I'll give you a classic example. In the FCT, for over 3 months, primary school children were out of school, and nobody did anything about it. And from where I stand, political offices or leadership is not from just having positions. It's being able to speak up.
Yes.
At the time, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did, absolutely, because children should be in school.
Okay.
And teachers should be paid what they are due, because they're the educators. You wake up in the morning and you put your child's life in somebody else's hand. Don't you think that person should be paid well? That's exactly the voice that I raised. And I said, look, give them what they want. Let's take care of our kids because they're the future of tomorrow, not to be cliche. Yes. I understand that I sound like a lot of other people, but the one difference is that I'm a doer. And
how do we know?
I have an experience. So I have an experience in project management, in project strategy, in development management as well. And so I understand that it's not always what you have in the house. For instance, yes, we have our federal government revenue, we have our allocations, but we also have big companies that that are living, are, working, that are settled here in city center. So it's time for them to take some responsibility. Please, you're in our neighborhood. What exactly are you doing to take care of our streets? So this is what I'm doing differently, as opposed to, yes, what the federal government has. This is Abuja. This is a community. You can't just move in. And so show us what you're doing. Let's work hand in hand.
So you're saying holding them accountable?
Yes, holding them accountable.
Now, there are talk about inclusivity. Equality as well have been the big talk that women have had over the years. They want to be equal in all spheres, basically. And the question is, why ask for help now? Why ask for a reserved seat when it comes to politics?
Because the other one hasn't worked. Because the truth is, we've spoken about a lot of times. They say, in fact, there was even the time where we were saying special seats, and the men were triggered because of that word special. Why are you more special than me? So we've said, in fact, even because the bill proposes for 4 electoral cycles, so it's even a test run, so people see how it works, and then afterwards are encouraged to allow more women, or to for more female representation. So it's just why now, or why is it going to be different, or why are we saying reserve seats? Because, all right, you don't like this, we give you a certain thing, you want to remove this bit, this bit, this bit. We'll work with you. We just want you to see what we can do, what we can capable of. They say give a woman rice, a few grains of rice, she'll give you jollof and chicken.
But there are women that throw away the grain of rice that was given to them.
I mean, even with the chickens and jollof given to them,
there are women that still. You know why I'm asking these questions is so that we don't give women the seats because we think that certain seats should be reserved for women. We're giving them the seats because they actually can perform. I would never vote a woman who will underperform, regardless of my relationship with you. If you are incapable of occupying the office that you're being given and acting in accordance with the requirements of that office, I will not vote you. If the entire seats, like, it should be given to men, if you are incapable, I know that people will be of the opinion that, oh, men are also incapable, they are not able. But if you are coming to fight for a cause, you have to present your strong reasons. And your strong reasons will be what you can offer. Because if I'm trying to kick this person out of the office, then I need to have something that is worth being throwing that aside for. I'm saying this also because once you get into the office now, we have heard a lot of complaints, not just from women, from the men as well. I didn't know that this is what the office is about. I came here, I met these challenges, or this amount of money was met in the office, I couldn't do anything. These complaints and these excuses are becoming very intolerable in the Nigerian political system. Now I'm asking, you are aware of the challenges that come with occupying an office. How would you mitigate, first of all, the patriarchal system that has eaten deep into the Nigerian political system? How would you deal with the violence that happens within this community? And how would you deal with the oppositions that you would face in the office? Because when it's time to access you, the complaints of how the office was before you arrived will become irrelevant because it is assumed that you know what you were vying for before you got in there.
So I'm going in with the mindset, by God's grace I win. I'm going in with the mindset that starting ground zero. We're starting, yes, I understand that there's a system or something existed before I went in there.
Absolutely.
But I'm not looking for what was in the coffers. I'm saying day one, first date, what exactly are we doing? Where have we identified, and what are our targets, and what are our goals? So it's I don't want to push the promise of different, but I am more enlightened. And I feel like the system now, while it doesn't work completely, we have more players in the game who want it to work. I'm definitely a patriot, and I believe this my country is only one. Like, it's only one I have. I'd rather be a first-class citizen than a second-class citizen in any other man's land, right? Anywhere else.
Lots of questions, outlined that we're going to be asking. But right now we need to go out on a quick break. When we come back, we continue the conversation right here in the studio. Do stay with us.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened with how I met my first godmother. I saw that the APC was, no, it wasn't really the APC, but there was a National Women's Conference. And I remember I was very scared walking into the conference center that year, but I simply stood by the wall And then I noticed one of the organizers was having an issue organizing people. So I stepped up to the plate. Nobody told me to, and I stepped up to her and I said, how can I help? And that was the first question. She looked at me and she said, do you walk fast and do you think smart? I said, yes, very shakily. But she said, do this and this and this and this. And at the end of the night, she was like, come back tomorrow. And that was it. There was never, oh, somebody brought me to her. There was a willingness to work.
Okay.
So you have to step up to the plate. They say closed mouths don't get fed. I could have stood by the wall. I stepped up to the plate. And I'd encourage any and every other young woman out there, if you admire someone or you see someone and towing the line of work that you want to tow, and actually making impact, don't be afraid. What's the worst that will happen? No.
Now, if APC, PDP, or even Labour Party reserve seats for women, let's be frank here, will those seats be given to women in grassroots? Or we're going to see those seats given more to wives of existing politicians, sisters, and relatives of already existing politicians?
Because that is another very scary thing that we might be
facing.
So at the end of the day, the people who are going to vote for you need to know you. So it's one thing that you could come from somewhere, and it's another thing that a sister in the community. But the people themselves have to make that choice. So it's in their hands because they have the voters card and they have the numbers. So a man from somewhere might try to put his sister or his daughter, but then he cannot vote for her himself. One vote cannot win an election.
Campaigns are there,
yes,
right? Whoever comes on board, they will do the campaign.
Yes.
And how do you get to know the persons that you want to vote? Is through the campaign season. And so if the wife of this individual is being given the ticket because she's a woman, reserved seat,
and her husband has influence,
so there's a possibility that he can as well, right? Or through the campaign season, you know, this person is going to be known.
So this is, the reserve seal doesn't really actuate that it will be reserved for one woman.
Okay.
It just means it is definitely a woman that's going to be there. It could be me, it could be you.
We're talking about party giving the ticket right now. The party will give the ticket to one person, isn't it?
Yes, but then I went through direct primaries. I'm believing that a decent and responsible and, for lack of a better, progressive party would conduct primaries and may the best woman win.
And that's a belief as it is right now.
Okay. All right. Let's say that, because I'm not being a bearer of bad news, but let's say that this bill fails again, fails to scale through again. What would be the reaction of the women, and what would you advise to be done afterwards?
Like a heartbreak.
Absolutely.
We recoil, we recover, and we move again. We move again. If I had not won my first primaries, trust me, I'd try again. So the woman herself is resilient. A woman is resilient at all times. So, okay, it didn't, what happened the last time? It wasn't past the last time. We regrouped, we recovered, we re-strategized, and we're out. And surely, God forbid, if it's not past, we re-strategize, we regroup, and we go again.
Okay. Go on.
Go on.
If the reserve seat basically has been adopted by Nigeria, wouldn't that also reinforce the stereotype that women, you know, cannot win elections based on merits?
No, I don't think so. Because evidence goes to show that many women with merit, with very well capable women, are stopped. They are intimidated. They are prevented from going.
Okay.
So what this bill does is just equal opportunity. It's not a handout. It's just fair play.
Okay. All right. We've asked a lot of questions around so many things. Let's bring it back home, because there are young people who are definitely listening or watching you right now, and we want to vie for political offices. And the thing is, most young girls are very scared. They don't think they are able to occupy these positions because they are a lot more familiar with the resistance that comes to occupying the office than they are with the resilience of more women who have tried to occupy that position. So what would you say to younger girls out there?
Nobody is better than any other person. I'll tell you that for a fact. Nobody was born with something that makes them extremely special or more special than you will. Yes. So this is my message to you. Run because you can, because it's your right as a citizen of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Don't let anyone hold you back. I had people who didn't believe in me, but at the same time I had people who believed in me, who knew I could do it. So surround yourself with people, with positive people who tell you, you can do this. And trust me, just even being around them, it does something. It plants a seed in your mind. So yes, there will be naysayers. There will be people that will tell you, you can't do it. You're too young. You're a woman. You're irrational. You're all the things you don't want to hear. But trust me, there must be one that will tell you that you can do it. And just based on that, with grit, with the work, do the work, with the resolution, with the mindset, get it, girl.
I like that one. Get it, girl.
Get it,
Thank
girl.
you, Honorable Umo Katur. Thank you so
It's
much.
been a pleasure.
All right, thank you so
Okay.
much. But I think maybe just one more. Do you see a woman being president in Nigeria?
Yes.
You do?
You
Yes,
do.
I do.
Maybe me.
Yes, I do.
All right, once again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here with
much.
us. I do appreciate. Of course, still talking about women representation in politics. Right now, let's get it back to me and Martha to wrap it up. Martha, of course, our guest has talked about women represented in politics. Lots of nuggets, especially towards the end. Get it, girl. Right. Again, but let's even talk about the debate that many persons out there in the street, many Nigerians, calling for the fact that women have got to prove themselves more and also get to contest, just like the men are contesting. Because again, equality is something that women have been asking for.
Okay.
And when it comes to politics, it seems like women are asking for a special seat. They're asking for an easy way into the political system, right? As against their request of equality. The popular aphorism, what a man can do, a woman can do a lot more better.
I'll tell you what.
Tell me what.
I don't think that women are looking for equality. At least not me.
Okay.
We're looking for equity, fairness. If you can walk up to a political party and decide that you want to contest elections, why can't I? So give me the choice, right? Don't take my choice away from me. And which is what, and I feel like you men know these things. You just try to cover up with the conversation with so many jargons so that it looks like they don't know what they're saying, but they actually know what they're saying. Give them the opportunity to decide what they want to do with their lives. Don't decide for a person that they are unfit to occupy a position when you don't even know what they want. So, and that's what most of you do. You try to, sorry, let me not generalize.
It has now become a gender war.
That's what most politicians do, at least. You see it in political parties. Oh, women cannot do this. Oh, women cannot do that. But if you look at the kind of opposition that comes to the woman, then you know that it's more of a personal problem. I'll tell you an example. Natasha Oduaga. Explain to me in the history of Nigeria where it has happened that a federal government will sue a woman for a personal problem she had with the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Why would the federal government sue Natasha for the claims she made to the Senate President? Is the Senate President the federal government? He's representing the federal government. She spoke about his character, not his office. Why did the federal government sue her? That's an opposition.
Now, you know, it has okay.
The court has also ordered
Right.
that she be reinstated back to the House. Why has she not?
Well, the clerk did make sure that.
That
Of course. Now, there are certain things that the court also said that Natasha should do that she hasn't done.
you are trying to succumb her, and
No,
she
no.
does not want to be succumbed.
So again, that is basically what the court said do. So if you're going to be in politics, if you're going to be a person of influence, then you also know that you need to also follow the rule of law.
What if the rule of law is biased?
What is biased about the fact that the court says make a public apology? Because beyond having an issue with the Senate President, the House also said, well, there are certain contempts. You actually spoke against the House in certain
Send an
manners.
apology letter.
Well, what the court says, make an open apology, because you also use the media platform to make certain statements. So the court says, because you use this particular platform to make this statement, use that same platform to tender your apology.
Now, the issue is not that maybe she was right all along, right? The issue is Akpabio did the same thing, but we didn't see the exact same measures or these conditions being given to him. The video circulated everywhere online where he spoke against the Speaker of the House of the 9th Assembly at the time. We did not see this. A lot of people call it witch hunting. We did not see this with Akpabio. We did not see him being requested to submit an apology letter to the Speaker of the House. As a matter of fact, he was even victimized. The Speaker of the House at that time, the 9th Assembly, was even victimized at the time. So the major thing a lot of people are talking about is what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Again, it boils down to choice. Let people decide what they want to do. If we see, I promise you, if we take away this whole idea of women cannot, and we give everybody a fair platform to be able to contest, you'll be very surprised to see the outcome.
I mean, even as at now,
Yeah.
women are not restricted from, contesting. They are not restricted.
The opposition is not it's not clearly stated. There are direct and indirect oppositions that women face. Some you might never be able to know. Have you seen when someone is pinching a child and is poking a child and the child is crying, but the person's hands are folded like this? So even if the child cries from today to tomorrow, you cannot see anybody poking the child. So when the child cries, they'll just assume, oh, she's making a noise. It's a woman.
So women are
they talk like.
That's what you're saying.
It's time to close the show. It's time to end the conversation.
But of course, we've had an interesting conversation right here, and truly we're hoping, of course, that we have, we need to see more women as well in political offices. But again, everyone should be given their equal right to vote, and also to contest as much as possible. But once again, thank you so much for being part of the conversation this morning. Do remember that you can follow us up on all our social media pages across all platforms at Rapid TV. And you can rewatch this episode and every other episode that we've had over the week on our official YouTube platform, which is at Official Rapid TV. And if you're in the UK, in the United States, in Canada, or you travel down to maybe Adamawa State, and you think that there's no network there, hey, got you. You can always carry us along anywhere you go using our website, www.arabianradiotv.com. I am Victor Ake.
And my name is Mata Ali, but you can call me Mata Mata.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.